Well, everybody, welcome into Arsenal Fan Circle, a Sunday show, season 6, episode 4. Pull up a chair, you're all welcome here, and we're smiling right now. I don't know, Gary, it could have been anything today. Could have been a loss, could have been a draw. I was resigning myself to a draw, and then Declan Rice pops up, and for me, it seemed like the world stood still for at least 3 seconds.
No, I was on a watch along, so I got the results before they happened. So I got upset. Uh, I think by the goal that they scored, and then it came back, and then I got happy with the penalty that we were given, and then by the time I had a chance to even get upset about it, voila, they got it was called off, and then when they scored, I got upset again, and by the time I look around, we scored. We responded every time a lot today, so that was really good. It's still, I mean, people gonna look at the score and say it was good, but it was 3-1. But this isn't a typical 3-1. This was, I would say, hello everybody in the chat before I continue on. I've got Mr. Tom, got Riddy, Stefan in the house. Don One, welcome. It's not a good game from Arsenal. Not something you can live on.
Yes.
But the fact that we played for 90 minutes, which has been a problem for us, if you were watching our games this season, we've kind of like the last 10 minutes basically have let our foot off the gas. And today we actually put our foot on the gas and then put the other foot on the gas and then got somebody else to put another foot on the gas. Everybody had their foot on the gas, and we turned that game around. And all the stats basically were going the other way, and then we turned them around and put it on us.
Yeah.
And the score line shows that. So that last 10, 15, 20 minutes basically turned the game in our favor. And this is what we're supposed to do. The team hopefully knows that they should be able to start like this. They don't need to finish like this. I think even without the subs, we still should have had a manageable lead at some point. I mean, I think the opportunities were there. I just think we weren't as clinical, and this is not just in shooting, but in everything we're doing, passing and
Yep.
The style of play and the patterns of play and the attack. So, yeah, questions will be asked as to who should start. Fabio Vieira once again has shown that he can put a nice ball in.
Do a job.
Yeah,
Yep.
he can definitely do a job. And Jesus
Yeah.
looks like he's in good form. Maybe he can't. I don't think he can give us a whole 45 minutes based on what I saw today.
Who was that? Gabriel Jesus you mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, he came back last weekend against Fulham, got 5 to 10 minutes right at the end of the game when we were desperate to get a winner. I always thought he would not start this game, but have an impact at some point in the game. And of course, nice move at the end, finishing off that breakaway goal from Fabio Vieira assisting. But it was, I would agree with you, Gary. The performance, it was good performance in terms of energy, in terms of work rate, a little bit lacking in quality. We just didn't have that end product. And right until the end, we got a break here and there, which saw us home in the end for 3 points. And like I said, the world seemed to stand still for about 3 seconds when Declan Rice was allowed to be all alone on the back post, chest that ball down, and put a nice contact on the half volley. And the rest was history from there. A deflection off the defender, Onana, almost getting to it, and it sort of trickled into the back of the net. And I couldn't believe it because I sort of resigned myself, Gary, to a draw, getting out of here with 1 point. And then the narrative being we're not up to snuff in terms of chasing Manchester City. But, of course, results like this can give you an extra boost.
Yeah, at one point, yeah, as you said, at one point it was looking like a good result based on the way we played. But we sat there kind of still waiting for them. It looked like waiting for them to maybe take it away from us at that point, and we took it back. So yes,
And
yeah,
Manchester United are that team. We witnessed this in New Jersey, and when we went to the game together, Gary, they've got quality players, but they will wait. They wait in in like stealth mode, waiting for the opportunities to strike at you, and they have quality players who can. They're a team full of moments for me. They're a team who live off the moments, the big moments in the game.
Definitely, and we played right into that. I mean, the way we defended, the way we attacked, played right into whatever they wanted. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know what kind of defense that was, but it's not good.
No,
They are
especially.
playing without their most of their back line to start the game. They're missing two players to start the game. We're missing, Martinelli or Saliba to start a game, and maybe say Zinchenko. You would expect, hello there, Stan. You would expect other teams to take advantage of that because that's where, it's the quality drops,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah,
we,
let's get through
yeah.
a few comments here, then we'll bring Stan, Gary in again. Tom said, so that went well. Yeah, roller coaster game for me. Tony does not like the. I don't like these roller coaster games, but you have to. As a football fan, you live off the emotion of being down and being up. As kind of big gunner here, really saying, yes, get in there. Also, well done to Ferrari and Sainz at Monza for being second best, I suppose. The beauty of YouTube from Stefan. Evening, Ray, Gary, and Stan here now. Don Juan says, he cannot breathe. That was just crazy, you know? I'm going through permutations in my head. Okay, a draw, and then Garnacho. He's a dangerous player. Greetings to everyone in the chat. A few other things. Stan, I'll bring you in. What's your thoughts on the game, Stan?
I mean,
No worries.
what a way to finish the game. What a way to see a game out. I mean, I went down to the pub for this one, which I haven't been down to the pub in quite a while. And I almost didn't go because I hate being in the pub when we lose. I don't like being in the pub around everybody when we have a bad game. And I don't know what it was, but before I saw the lineup this morning, and I was thinking if you're going to be going in with a similar kind of mindset, I wasn't very confident about this game. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't sure if we could get all 3 points. So
Yeah.
I very nearly did the thought, I don't want to go down a pub and we have a bad result. It'd be like, I'm the jinx. Every time he comes down the pub, we fucking lose. Do you know what I mean? But the missus was like, come on, let's get down there. And what an atmosphere as well.
Yeah.
It is very similar to being, even my missus, she's been to a game, she's been to North London Derby. She says the atmosphere is very similar to being at a match. She described it as that man energy.
Man energy, I love
that
it.
Man energy in the pub.
Yeah.
But
armpits and beer.
I think one of the things that I said was when Rice scored that goal, I just turned to my mate to my left and said, "That's what 100 million will get you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He turned up in the clutch moment, and look, it didn't look like we were going to pull it out at the end. For me, I was resigning myself to that draw. Really said, I won't get any stick today for not catching up with the chat, so take it easy. Don Juan, this club is insane. The emotions just up and down. It's hard being an Arsenal fan. And I think the transition from who we were last season to this season is still not perfectly there, Gary. We're still trying to find ourselves a little
I
bit.
mean, I think a lot of us fans probably think we know who should be in out of this lineup before the season started, and so far we've been proved right. As to, I think some people need to they need to take some time to get to be part of this starting lineup yet, and I believe we're seeing that. Vieira, we're seeing what happens after. People talk about, I think many people, I don't know who said it on this panel, but people have said, you know what, you need to give a player the second year and let's see how they do. Vieira is showing what happens in the second year with the play that he's given us. So with that in mind, it makes you wonder why Havertz is getting pushed out there consistently. We don't need him to be Havertz of 3 years ago, 4 years ago, day one. We don't need that. We need him to build into that, and we have a strong team. So let's just go with our best 11 as of today, not the future. And we saw that today. For me, Saka wasn't that good today.
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli had a lot of the ball once again. We weren't able to take advantage of that when he had it. Some of that's on him. I think some of that's on the players around him. So, we need to figure that one out. So, like I said, for 95 minutes, not a really good game for us. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could have been sitting here with a draw and being kind of critical, and we maybe have to keep that in mind with this win as well. The McChronicle said, Ten Hag, the bald-headed Pep wannabe, hold that. And, I don't know. Stone Cold Steve. Right?
We beat him Stone Cold Ten Hag down the pub because he looks like if he ordered Stone Cold Steve Austin from Wish.
Yes. Yeah.
Wish.com.
Stephen here, the Arsenal Misfit. The players won this one despite another piss poor game from Arteta. The first subs came 30 minutes too late. I have not seen any improvement from Arteta in game management in 2 seasons now.
Yeah.
Stan, Gary, go ahead. Yeah, the subs were.
Let Stan go and see if he says what I say.
Just be telepathically tell Stan.
We'll see. We'll see what he's gonna say. Let's see.
You both have headphones on, so it should work.
We've got to about 70 minutes, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, I think Eddie and Kai have had enough now. They've had long enough to try and do something. Let's bring on. I think I even tweeted out, is it teabag time yet, Mikel? Or give me some teabag. Something like that, on. So when I saw him, it was literally just after I tweeted out, he started to come on. And I think I even shouted out in a pub and pointed at the screen. I went, teabag! And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Who?
They don't. The people know. The people know.
But, I'm looking at Twitter at half-time, right? And Kai Havertz is so polarising. I'm seeing some people going, the sitter that he missed, notwithstanding, I think he's had a very good game. And I see other people saying, the game just looks like he seems to be passing him by. It feels like we're playing with 10 men. He's not being able to get on the ball. So, it all depends on whose eyes you're looking through. I tend to be looking through the same set of eyes as the guy that spoke in the latter. I didn't really see it myself, but there's a lot of people out there that are going to tell you that other than missing that sitter, he's doing a lot of good things. Very polarizing person.
Yeah, no, I was just on top of that, I actually was hoping for subs at 45 minutes. Going into this game, you look at both benches. We've got Trossard, we've got Fabio Vieira, we've got Jesus on our bench.
Was ESR on the bench? I forgot to.
Yeah, I think he was on the bench too. So we have a very, very strong bench, and what we were missing was basically something on the attacking side of the ball. Just something was missing there. We were getting opportunities, just not. We needed something else, and I don't think it was going to change in the second half. So for me, I wanted to sub at 45 minutes, take advantage of one of those sub windows, get somebody in there. Maybe not Jesus, maybe Vieira, maybe anybody, but somebody else to come in there and maybe change things up a little bit, because they were going to give us opportunities, and all we did for the next 25 minutes is look the same as we did in the first half, which was not impressive. So I was looking for subs even sooner, because you have a strong bench. We kept talking about depth, right? We need depth, and we need depth to come in there and change things when the team is struggling. We were struggling. When you have all those players sitting on your bench, you use it, and I think big-time managers would have used it. You're not waiting. Why are you waiting for them to do something? Right? We always seem to be like, let's react to what happens next. No. If you don't like what you're seeing, and I have no doubt, I don't know what Arteta said at halftime, but I'll be surprised to think he went into that halftime going, you guys continue doing what you're doing. You're doing great. I doubt he said that, at least from what I saw. So something needed to change mentally, physically. It was only one way. So, yeah.
Like I said, I thought the energy and work rate was there. It's just the quality of chances.
No, not.
You didn't see Arsenal forcing.
They were jogging around. Do you see the defense? I talked about it.
We were forcing the issue.
No, we weren't forcing anything, because we're just jogging around, and they're passing it to the next open guy. No press from us up top. We got Havertz in there. Supposedly he can help with a high press. We didn't press them at all. They just moved the ball around as much as they wanted. They got all the space they needed to make a pass.
I didn't see it that way.
I didn't see a press. I saw them just getting what they wanted.
Odegaard was leading the press.
One guy every damn time.
Eddie and Kedia.
As a team, no.
Martinelli,
one guy every time was leading a press by himself.
Yeah, there
team,
were.
no.
No, you're right,
No.
Gary. I thought you meant that's not at all. You're right. There
No,
were
no, I
times,
mean the team.
There were
The team
times
did
where,
not.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you get the first person to go, you need that second wave. You need a second wave behind, and there were times when there wasn't that second
Well,
wave.
you
got to
be
Gary's
very
right. There
careful.
wasn't. Yeah, he's right. There were times.
Either
I
you
noticed
press
that.
or you don't press, though.
Well, you have to be careful about it, Gary, because
No, but
Rashford gets the goal
that's
out
the
of our
point of a
press.
press, though. That's what you press for that particular reason. If you press as a team, everybody's moving in the same direction. The player with the ball for the opponent gets it. You have a guy coming up. You put pressure on him. Maybe he makes a bad pass, but if your other guys are just
Second
standing
wave.
pat, then
Yeah.
guess what? The pass makes it there. But if you put
Yeah.
pressure on that second guy, maybe he coughs it up. Maybe he rushes to judgment, just like Saka did, where he passed it. Just like Havertz when he passed it without looking. Guess what? The defense is right there every time. And that's what happens when you're pressing. You have a man on man, and you're not like 5-10 feet off the ball, off the man, so they just get it with no pressure on them.
The Rashford goal comes from us pressing.
No,
we
actually
win the ball back.
We lost the ball.
Counter.
Yeah,
we lost
but
the
we won the
ball.
ball back, and then we
They hit us
lost
on the counter.
Yeah, you know.
Did you
we
see that?
Were.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be very careful. Players and defenders, goalkeepers, especially Onana, really good with the ball at his feet.
And where do we lose the ball?
We lost the ball outside of their box, right? And
I thought it was a little bit. I felt it was a little bit closer to midline.
On the D. We lost the ball on the D. I think it was maybe Havertz or Rice tried to play a ball across the D. Ericsson, probably one of the players you don't want to pick the ball up in that situation. Intercepts the ball, drives forward, and plays a great pass inside of our.
And then I would say after that, both Ben White and Saliba played that poorly.
Very poorly.
You have two guys. So those are two players that have been playing all season, playing next to each other all season, played that whole situation poorly. They knew what Rashford is going to do, and they played it poorly. At least one of them needed to come up and push him outside. Correct. Nobody did. They just basically gave him the inside. Both of them actually moved together, so he had whatever he wanted. So that was poor on us defensively, even after not getting beat out on the counter.
Yeah.
So
totally agree with you there. You got to show Rashford down the left-hand side. He did it to us last January, Stan.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw him, when that Ericsson made that pass, I mean, I hear what Gary's saying, that we kind of fumbled it and they hit us on the counter, but they still had a lot of work to do. And I hate to say it, but it was a very good goal, to be fair. And when Rashford went tearing off, I think my missus, I grabbed hold of her leg because I could feel the danger. Just, when you're like,
it's not time yet, Stan.
You know, like when you're like, yeah, she's not. She's what in the pub, but it's like half-time show starting early. But but it was like it was one of them ones where like I've seen this before. It was like I've seen this before, and I think I know how this is going to end. And it's a lot of work to do, and to bend it into the corner like that. I mean, you've got to give credit where credit's due. Very good goal. Very good player.
No, definitely. You cannot. Rashford had not had a sniff for 25 minutes. He gets the ball in space, and you're right, Gary. Ben White and Saliba, they're just shadowing.
If they defended us like that, and we missed the shot, I'd be upset. But guess what? They did not. They did not. They showed Martinelli. You want to go down that side? Go right ahead. We're going to run you all the way to the touch line there, to the goal line, wherever you want to go. And you know what? So that's we didn't do that, and that's why we got punished for it. If Martinelli, I think Martinelli just needs to force it. But like I said, defensively, we could have done better, and we didn't make enough mistakes for me to think that our press would have given that up so many times.
Yeah.
And you know what? It wouldn't give it up because a lot of times it's on our offense to maybe change that. We put a lot of pressure on them. They're not going to be able to want to come up that much on us, and they're going to sit back and maybe we get more space and time on the ball. But No, it
wasn't a good goal. In the end, Stephen said we done to United what they have done to us for years. We left it a little bit late, Stephen, but we did it. Stan?
I remember seeing the stats come up at half time, and it was something like they had a little bit more possession than we had. They had something like 10 shots, 2 on target. We had 20 shots, 2 on target. So the same amount on target, but we had double the chances. And that's the problem with Arsenal is our conversion.
Yeah.
You know?
The quality of chances versus converting. And we don't have enough maybe strikers or cold stone killers in our wingers, Saka or Martinelli. Russ said, Havertz, enough is enough. It's time for a change. Gary?
No, I was just going to say on top of that, like it was 55% possession for them late in that game. Guess what? It finished off 55% Arsenal. We basically controlled that game after maybe with like 20, with like 5 or 15 minutes left in that match. We basically took control of that game, and it made all the difference.
In the end, we did rack up that pressure. We'll talk about that a little bit later. As Moss said here, they were down Shaw as a left back. They had to buy an emergency left back from Tottenham in Reguilon. Dalot came in, and they were down Raphael Varane. But it had to get so bad that they had Maguire and Johnny Evans on till we were able to win this game, in the end.
Exactly what Moss says there. When I saw that was going to be their centre-half for a little while, I thought myself, surely that we could get something out of this. This is going to be Stone Cold's undoing, putting them two on.
Odegaard.
You saw Harry Maguire putting his shin pads in, man. I started sniggering.
I was quietly happy about that, but obviously until we see Harry Maguire disappointed and losing.
And Harry Maguire, as he was putting his shin pads in and out, I was looking at his face, and he looked like he was like, "Oh no, I've got to go on that. Oh no,
I don't want this. I don't want this." Moss said, "Odegaard clutch, Martinelli magic, Jesus, thank goodness, delivers Sundays. What a match." Rice earning some of that 105. Yeah, and look, Stan, you were being cautionary about Declan Rice. Can't expect too many things from him because he is a defensive midfielder, but if he can chip in with a goal or two, and these are the types of things, dare I say it, Granit Xhaka was probably chipping in with a goal or two in these games last season as well, We have some weird jinx over United at the Emirates. They have it over us at their place as well. So, Don Juan, we got to take this win, move forward with it. But then there is a fixture at Old Trafford later in the season that we have to turn the narrative around as well there and going up north as well. Even 2 weeks from now, Gary, we're going to take a break here. 2 weeks from now, we'll have Goodison Park, and that's a fixture we didn't do well in last season.
Yes, and I'll tell you, it doesn't matter. We're still a better team. We were a better team last time we played, so we should be. We need to be performing better, and hopefully that's what we're going to work on going into that game, and it should look a little bit more comfortable than it did today, right? We should be a lot more comfortable going into that game. And Everton aren't that good. Yeah. Arsenal is not playing well, but when they dip in form, still better than Everton. So we need to play a lot better because the run of games after that, we need to be building on each one of them. Yeah, Champions League first game will be at home. We need to go into that
home to PSV.
Yeah, we need to go in with a win, and that'd be really nice. So we need to continue this winning run and this non-losing run to keep it going. So yeah. It was a good day.
So Don Juan said, "It's United lads, and I just love beating them." This is an old rivalry that many of us remember back in 20 years ago, even longer than that.
I'm waiting for at some point. I have the feeling this is going to happen. Stan is going to be chatting, and those birds are going to just attack him. Because I don't know. I just feel like it's going to. Stan, I'm sorry. But that'll
be Newcastle.
That seems like I think they're just waiting. Like this guy does not know we're here. And next thing you know, this is going to dive bomb, and you're going to be like, "What was that?"
On the contrary, Gary, I control these ravens.
The ravens.
I might send them over to you.
They're like protecting.
Stan is manning the wall. Stan is manning the wall.
He's got the birds protecting him, and everybody else is like, "No, I think they're after him." He's like, "No. I'm just coordinating defensive alignment here."
Stan is the real king of the north. That was some topsy-turvy soccer game. I know who that's directed at, right, Gary?
Yeah. Yep.
There you go, Moss. Teabag. Let's be honest,
Fabio
the
Vieira, man.
officiating. A word for the officials here. I thought he wasn't too bad.
Okay, but then you suck. That's what you think.
I thought the penalty, you've seen penalties given. I actually have notes in here. Man City get help from officials. We certainly don't. So if we're going to do this, it's going to be the hard way. Really said the officiating was a joke again. Lindelof should have seen red. And
He
that
kicked a
foul.
guy in the head, or at the least got very close.
That was
And
orange.
I just can't. I mean, obviously he did not kick him in the head because Nketiah didn't even look like it hit him at all. But that's some serious, dangerous play there. And it's an Nketiah that high leg that got on somebody, it got just below somebody's knee, got thrown out after like 2
Yes.
minutes in the game, right?
Against Leicester.
So
Right.
I just that's dangerous play there. I mean, coming
what
from
about-
behind and swinging your leg
I'm
like
not-
that.
I gotta be sort of balanced here and call out Saka. What about Saka's challenge on Fernandez? That was a bit naughty as well. You know what I mean? At the risk of getting pelters in the chat box here, because I can't be. I am biased.
It didn't stand out to me because I didn't think he played. I didn't think he played well again.
Yeah.
So
In the words of Arsene Wenger, I did not see it.
He did not
that
see
too. That too.
I can only ask the question,
Look,
Arsene.
I didn't see it.
We should have had Trossard and Jesus on in the last 20 minutes.
I thought,
Yeah.
talking about the ref, I thought Anthony could have got a card for kicking the ball away. I thought that was a new directive.
Yes.
They've been calling that all
Innit?
season until today. Now it
Should have got
just
one.
doesn't matter.
Well, Gary, those things start off hot, right? Some things happen.
True.
Even Arteta's going to get a high-profile yellow, but then it sort of calms down as the season goes on.
Yeah.
Here we go. I was wanted to maybe broach this topic about Xhaka. Are we missing Xhaka right now, or are we trying to understand how we're going to play?
We don't need. We have
without him.
Rice.
We will miss.
We have Rice. So the second part of that, the will to win, I don't think that's the problem.
Yeah, we've got players.
I think we've got a player playing in Xhaka's position that's not doing it justice. Like, we're missing Xhaka because of Havertz, and that should never be.
Yeah,
that should never
I
be.
agree.
Like some part of his game needs to be better, because in most games we have most of the possession, which means he should have ample time on the ball. But we all keep talking about his off the ball performances. But we have in those games 70%. Today we had less, so it was a game that was not really set up for him the way it played out. I don't know if we could have done things better to take on more possession, but he's not. He's making Xhaka look really good, and I think he's a better player.
Mm-hmm.
I think as well, because of all eyes are on him. My eyes are definitely on him.
Eyes are on Kai.
Yeah, we said, haven't we, Ray, that you can probably get a better snapshot of who this player is in an Arsenal shirt maybe after 10 games. He's had 4 now. He's almost at the halfway point. And when he missed a sitter, for example, players do miss sitters, but because it's him, and you think to yourself, well, you want to keep the crowds, you want to silence your detractors, you put that away. He should be doing better. If that was Trossard in that position, he'd put his foot straight through that ball, I have no doubt. It might have hit the crossbar, but he'd have put his foot through. Put his foot through the ball. And then with the penalty shout, if there's no VAR, if there's no VAR, the ref gives us a penalty. But when you look back at it, it wasn't a penalty. In my opinion, it was not a penalty. As Kai brings his leg up in the running motion, it hits the thigh of the other player, and Kai feels the contact. For me, he feels the contact and thinks, I'm going down.
You could be right.
That was not a penalty for me.
There's two things there.
I just wanted to be consistent. So I'm expecting, once again, we'll see the exact same thing, because it will happen again. A player will try to split 2 defenders as he attacks in the goal. Yeah. There'll be some contact, and it won't be given, because it's the exact same thing. That's my problem with this. Yeah. It's not that they did it right today, or this is the way it should be called. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at the exact same thing, and it'll be flat out PK.
Don't even ask him to go to the screen.
Exactly.
Gary, I fear you're right, Gary.
That's my problem with it. If you're gonna do it, just do it again.
There's
you know
two things. I think there's 2 things to this. The gait of Havertz, the gait of him, the way he runs, maybe his legs go a little bit like that anyway. So, but then you have two players converging and cutting off that channel. You're right, Gary. I agree with you. So it's Gary and Ray versus Stan in this one. Maybe.
I just think that he makes contact with their player, not the other way around.
He sells
And
it.
he,
I don't believe
he feels
that,
the contact and thinks,
yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go down. Like maybe a lot of players would do that, right? It's a
Yeah,
gamble.
I mean,
and
Gary
he
said
won
we're going to speak.
and he did win the gamble because if there's no VAR, the referee pointed to the spot.
Gary is right. We will see that tomorrow. We will see that 2 weeks from now, but we won't see it in Arsenal games too much. And Reddy said letting Kieran Tierney go was a mistake. Yes, I will say it. I watched a little bit of the Real Sociedad game and him in the dressing room, and he sort of like was looking at the Real Sociedad shirt as in, I got a new beginning, I got a new start here, you know. So good luck to Kieran Tierney in his loan move in Spain, and he's going to play Champions League as well, Gary. So we want to see Kieran Tierney in the Champions League as well. To quote Russ, you just know there's going to be a curveball in there. Judgment Day was that curveball, says Tom.
I think I got that. That was a prediction I got right.
All right, nice one. Jesus and Trossard should have come on at the half, replacing Eddie and Havertz. Eddie was pointless in the press. He did nothing. I'm going to say something controversial. You don't get many substitutions at halftime. It just doesn't.
But you know what? When you have a strong enough bench like that at home with an international break afterwards, you can do those types of things, and you can change the game in your favor.
Yeah.
And you're going to give some of these players the opportunities to go in there and make a difference when they are more likely. You know, I just think it was a good time to use it. Because you hadn't been like Trossard hasn't been playing much. He deserved to come in. Jesus looks like he's ready to go. If he can't go 45, then that's not going to happen. Vieira has looked good. You know, he's deserving of coming. And like you had options based on performances or past performances. You know, so
I definitely would like to see more substitutions in the 60-some minute, not the late 70s, and it was getting late. As you said, Gary, Man United were going through all of their substitutions when we were only thinking about it. Stephen said our press has not been anything like last season. I put it down to poor fitness, but I'm not so sure now. I mean, we kept going to past 100 minutes, so our fitness was there, and you could see if any team was going to do it, it was going to be us in the latter stages of that game. As Stephen said, we snatched away in something United done to us many times as far back as the 90s. Yeah, I remember we'd go to Old Trafford, lose by a goal, and that was it. That's all she wrote. I was always going to go after that match anyway. Okay.
Talk about the wrestling.
I hurt my right knee celebrating the third goal. Yeah, it was like a mosh pit. Was it Stan in the pub?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I'll tell you what it was like when the Garnacho goal went in. You know, he was racing ahead and that. I was going, no, because I thought myself like he's not going to miss.
No, he doesn't miss.
I just did not see him missing. And then when I saw it go to VAR, and then it got, you know, when it went in, silence, man. He could have had a pin drop anywhere in the pub. And there was this one guy who was Man United. I was sat where there's one part of the bar. He was sat right in the corner. And my missus said that when Rashford scored, he sort of went really quietly.
Quiet one.
He was surrounded.
I have been that guy. I have been that Arsenal guy in another pub.
But then, you know, when we came back, the pub was just like it just became unglued. You know, even the Odegaard goal. You know, because that first goal. Oh no, we're one goal behind, and you know we didn't have time to sort of like lick our wounds. We came back, and we equalised very quickly. I don't know what the gap was between the two goals, so that was a ray of hope.
Yeah, when that Rice goal goes in, check please.
Yeah.
I better get out of here.
It's over. Look, when Garnacho went through, I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be offside. It looked like it was an onside goal. We were wide open. Our center backs were wide open again, and we were caught at the back. And I actually think the way they drew the lines was maybe benefited us, obviously, a little bit.
Because I thought Saliba's head was playing him, because the way his body was shaped, his head was leaning forward, and I thought top of his head might have played him on side.
Do they? I don't know if they play the head as part of like
Depends on the day,
because,
Gary.
no, because if you look, a lot of
Yeah,
times
depends who's on
it's
VAR.
usually for me it's usually the knee, because that's usually what they key off, is the knees usually ahead of the toe, and that's what we see. I don't think I've seen the head given like that for the defender.
Yeah.
But maybe for the offensive player, the head is given. But it looked like a goal to me, so I wouldn't have been upset if they said it's a goal. So we just, as you said, we got opened up really easy. Their goal attempts too easy. Like at some point, can somebody just take
That
a
second
yellow?
one, Jesus.
Can somebody just take a yellow, a really good yellow?
Like Lindelof did.
Like just take the yellow, because no, just stop it before it even
Lindelof
gets
and Eddie.
started. Yeah, just
thing,
do it, right?
Clean them
Because
out. Right?
kill that drive and then get back and settle in and defend. I mean, just
Russ said Ten Hag has the goal to come out and say the ref screwed United. Ten Hag is a little bit of a spoofer for me, but most managers have like rose-tinted glasses.
He's lucky we would have scored. We probably would have won 4-2 if they would have got that goal. So he's lucky, where we played. Be really pissed off being down a goal. So.
Odegaard, great. Jesus is back. We're good. The composure for Jesus as well. Perfect. Just
like they're showing like a still of that part when he puts the ball onto his right foot. The defender is like on skates.
He undressed him in the penalty box. Poor guy.
So far away. You're like, wasn't he right next to him? Nope. And then Onana is just like, you're in trouble. I'm going to far post. That wouldn't bother.
I said to my missus, that defender's probably got kids and everything. Do you know what I mean? It's so cruel. So cruel what he's just done to him. Literally stripped him naked.
And you know what? That's what Jesus gives us, right? That's what Jesus gives us. And do our other nines do that for us? It's like, not so much. And that got opened up. And that pass from Vieira, sometimes we don't even make that pass.
Yeah.
Right?
It reminded me of Aston Villa, Gary. Reminded me of the same pass to Martinelli for Aston Villa last season.
Just got to make that pass, because you got to trust your player's going to keep going. And he was right there he's making a run, and boom, the ball's gone. No thinking about it. And,
there was a split second though where I thought he'd fluffed it before he sort of like did the drag back and that. I thought he might have fluffed it here. Yeah. But the presence of mind.
I thought the defender was going to. I thought when he put it back on his right foot, the defender was just right there to like not going to happen, and then it like you see the ball going, you're like, oh, okay.
He had plenty of time to diagnose what he was going to do, and the confidence to bring it back and take the defender.
And this is to all those people that said, Jesus going out for surgery was bad on the doctors. Did that look like a guy who's got an injury and needed surgery? No.
Unless it was bionic surgery.
Well,
does he look like a little heavier to you as well? To me, he looks like
he looks
a little bit heavier.
I thought for a second it was Nelson. For a second, I thought it was Nelson for a second, but I was just caught up in the rapture.
I have no doubt not being able to run isn't helping, because they got to keep their calories up and all that kind of stuff. So,
Steven said Everton were in last place when they humiliated us last season. Do not take them lightly. And that's not an easy place.
And I think those points we gave them kept them up, if I recall.
we did that for Aston Villa a few seasons ago too. I think the slow pace of the game suited United.
Exactly.
Definitely. Rule. They came to take a point. They came to slow the game down. And look, why do teams waste minutes? Why do teams waste time? I didn't think we were going to get 8 minutes of added time, but I'm definitely welcoming 8 minutes of added time. And we wasted 4 or 5 of them. And I'm thinking we haven't really done anything with this added time here. Tybe said Saka needs a break. Trust Nelson, trust Vieira.
Trust Trossard. Anybody to move things around. Like you bring Trossard in, and maybe you move Jesus out just to. He's going to go away, right? And he's probably going to play. And you're going to be like, he's going to play. I think sometimes he puts the English shirt on. He plays better. And I think we have just as good a team as England does to some degree. So it should look the same.
Trust Emile Smith-Rowe, but I'm thinking in those 5 of those added minutes, we don't really have a focal point up front until Declan Rice did what Declan Rice did. Stephen said, I always hated United as a kid going back to, I think, 92. The Littlewoods Cup when I think 7 players sent off and Arsenal got the heavy fines. I hate them more than Tottenham. That might have been the brawl up at Old Trafford. Anders Limpar scoring from out wide with a cross. We ain't winning against Everton away. The Goodison curse. Come on, believe, Reddy, believe.
This is the problem. Like, how and
Everything
why?
is beautiful.
So,
Does
yes, everything's beautiful. We won
Everything is beautiful.
because of Declan Rice scoring
No,
a
we
goal
played
in
poorly
96
against
minutes.
Everton, and it looks like today we could still win. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
not that good. It's if you play down to their level, they're gonna enjoy it. But we're not at that level. We're not.
Look. Spencer, welcome. Saka missed the sitter and got man in the match. He's not my man in the match, but
You got man of the match.
probably by Sky Sports. Steve Denham is back. Welcome,
Right,
Steve
Steve.
Denham. Good to have you
Yeah.
back. Where have you been, bro? Ten Hag thinks United should have won today and is blaming the ref. That's managers do that.
Yeah,
Do you think-
the fact that he had 10 players out on the outfield there, he's lucky. He should have been down a man. I believe, no matter what.
If I was United, I'd feel a little bit hard done by, but this is a
They
cutthroat
got
business.
lucky. They got lucky.
They got lucky.
I mean,
Kai
there was a
needs-
PK that they got in their favor. There was a possible red card they got that was not given in their favor. I mean, they got lucky.
True. Kai needs to play in the forward line. Use him during cups as a forward, and Jesus as right wing, says Clockwork Orange, or Clock Orange, rather. When you're constantly being played out of position, of course you're going to look awkward. I don't know why I said it keeps playing him in an 8. So BX is quite critical this season, but he's cutting Kai some breaks here, I think, Stan.
Yeah, I think Kai tries to play more as a second striker. So I'm interested to see how he looks with more minutes alongside Jesus.
Shout out to Tiger and Gunnar. 14 hours from here in Australia. It's got to be 4:45 in the morning, something like that in Australia right now. So big up yourself. What a great day, guys. Listen.
How'd you get to sleep after that?
Well, oh my gosh.
Don't.
I don't know.
After that, pour another whiskey, man.
Yeah, listen to this. I don't know. This is Fabio
There's only one
Romano
Tony.
saying he has a quote from Arteta. He said, "I said to Havertz,
Tony's
things are
actually
hard."
Stan in disguise. Sorry.
Yeah. Listen to this. Listen to this. Tell me what you think. This is Arteta talking. I said to Havertz, things are hard at the beginning. When I met my wife at the beginning, it was hard to conquer her. It was hard. I had to try and message her and go. And at the end, when she says yes, we can be together, it's beautiful.
So Kai be out in the pool tonight, going around the bars, chatting up every bird he sees.
What I just want to know where this energy was for Nicola Pepe, Ainsley Maitland.
I've been saying that since day one.
I know.
Certain players get the love from Arteta, and he'll bend over backwards for them.
I can think of 65 million reasons why he's giving him this.
No, I know, but Xhaka wasn't 65 reasons. He was like 13 red cards at that point. So he has his favorites, and I guess managers do, and he'll do anything for them. And I think he needs to do that for all of his players, because I have no doubt he will get the return. Havertz will not give us the return right now. He won't give it to him right now. At the end of the season, we'll probably be laughing about Havertz doing what he's supposed to do. But right now, he's not going to do it. But guess what? I think Nelson might give it to him. Vieira right now is showing why he should get some of that love.
Yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe should be getting some of that love.
Emil Smith-Rowe, where is it? Where's the love?
All
for
those
Emil
players should
Smith-Rowe?
be getting this love. Trossard deserves it. All he's done is show you in preseason. I need some minutes. So like 4 players are sitting back watching Havertz struggle out there, when guess what? They might be the answer you're looking for. And let Havertz catch up. Why should he get? They're shooting a gun at a big sprint, and like halfway through the race they're like, all right, you guys go and try and catch up, right?
Is Fabio Vieira teabag making a case over Havertz right now in the last 2 games?
Well, he's looking more comfortable, but I think with Havertz, it's like I believe that all the players come into the changing room at the beginning of a match, and they notice that Kai Havertz is the only one that's got a chocolate placed on the top of his kit. They're like, "It's my chocolate, man." Do you know what I mean?
It's
My
turned
chocolate.
Not only that, but you know what?
shirt
His
is turned
towel
down.
is made into like a duck or a swan or something
A
like that.
swan. Yeah, his shorts are folded up in the shape of a swan.
Swan Havertz. Look, listen, he's an Arsenal player, so we do support him. But
You know what? I want him to do well, but he doesn't have to play right
exactly.
now.
I agree with you. And we have players
Look,
that need to love.
you don't even have to go that far. You brought in four. You
Manager's
brought
got
in
to
four.
justify it.
You brought in 4 players, right? Rice, Timber showed you instantly why you brought them in.
Yeah.
Havertz has not shown you that, so you don't even have to go, well, it's this player that's been here for a while. No. Look at who you brought in.
Yeah.
Rice
He's got
and
to justify it.
right?
He's got to justify it to the owners, man. That's it, isn't it? He's got to justify the decision.
No, but if we're undefeated right now, what are they going to say? You're wasting my 65? No, you're saying, guess what? He's not ready. We haven't lost yet. Get out of my office. I got things to work on. You know what I mean? This is like if you're like a top salesman, right, in a company, and you're hitting your numbers and then some, and they're like, so why aren't you doing 10% better? Get out of my office. I'm doing my job and then some. You know what I mean? If you're at that level. Arteta should be doing his level. I think he's pandering to these owners, and it's going to hurt him. Why would you look bad for an owner? You don't have to. We should be win. We could have won that game against Fulham, right? Was it Fulham? Sorry,
Fulham.
Right. We have the numbers, and we have the players to do that. Use them.
Rule said as I had a penalty call similar, so let us see it again. Also goes on to say, I heard the commentator saying he was affecting our game, so we did not really press sufficiently, but I said we were timid. The assemble is here. Evening, chaps. We got the result in the end. Long may it continue. Look, the result is the most important thing. We might disagree on the level of performance in terms of efficiency and making converting our chances, but I thought the industry, energy, and work rate was there, and we were all going to see. Stan, this is not going to change Arsenal fans' perspective. If you're with Arteta, if you're against Arteta, or you're neutral, you're still going to not be convinced by this performance, right?
Well, when Declan Rice scored his goal, I thought, okay, this could be the winner, and we'll probably lock up shop now and try and hold on. I didn't see us going to get a third goal, so that was a pleasant surprise. So I think, we kept working hard right through to the very end, and we were rewarded for it.
Yeah, and once again, I'm on the opposite side of Stan. When we got that second goal, I was like, the only way we see this thing is if we look like we're going to score a third goal, because defensively we've shown we can't just hold on to a lead and defend and keep them at bay. And we actually went out and got that third goal, and we had an opportunity to do that. So that's I think we're better when we trying to score than when we are trying to hold on to something.
Yeah. I thought the important thing was after Rice scoring, he's telling everybody on the field to start concentrate, like Steve McMahon in '89 at Anfield. One more minute, but concentrate. You know what I mean? Red Smoke said, "What a win! Imagine beating United twice in 2 seasons in the 90+ minute. All that United fans, they must hate going to the Emirates as well." Ten Hag Crymore Assemble said, "Our champion, mate. How are you?" From Steve Denham. So everybody's getting to say hello to each other. Yeah, we got ducked at 2 points in 1991, I think, or 1990, as a result of that brawl. Assemble said, nervous with Arteta's system, wonderful when it goes right. Unfortunately, we haven't got the consistency we had most of last season. We just need to improve our finishing. Gary, 10 points from 12. Are we worthy of the 10 points?
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, I think we should have all 12 points at this point. So yeah, we're definitely worthy of the 10 points. I mean, we should have 12. I mean, I should expect the 12 based on the team that we have. So yeah, we're good enough for 10, but that's not acceptable, as Arteta would say, right? It's unacceptable. The fact that we've
Unacceptable.
dropped 2 points in the season so far.
Cahoon left as a free agent, yes, for most of the summer, but we'll be returning. Cahoon's probably going to take the Interlull stand for a little bit.
It's got to Saudi Arabia. Full of the money.
Cahoon
Full of the money.
Cahoon has had his head turned by Saudi Arabia right now, but we'll be back to the lineup pretty soon. A lot like Gabriel Magalhaes today. What were your thoughts on Gabriel Magalhaes, Stan?
Glad to see him back into the side.
Full game.
Yeah, glad to see him back into the side. Glad to see the back four looking like something that resembles what I sort of remember us doing quite well with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very glad to see Megalegs back into the side, and also to see Ben White on the right hand side. Helping out with his overlapping runs, and dare I say, Zinchenko.
Yeah, come on. Give it a little bit of love to Zinchenko. He's that playmaker playing a left back. He's a number 10, really, in disguise. Steven said, I think if Havertz gets more minutes playing as second striker behind Jesus, he'll look shite. So look, Cahoon will be coming back, ready. I think you've instigated that. I was waiting to see if the interest was still there for all of you. Gary, your thoughts on Gabriel Magalhaes coming back into the side? And now, can I say I was right that it could have been Saudi Arabian interest in him that got him?
There's still that interest if they want it.
Yeah, for another week.
So I don't know if they've Arsenal and Arteta basically told him it's not going to happen now. So just leave that one alone.
Just play.
But I also wonder if it's just a mad scientist going, I'm just going to rest you. 72 games played and whatever number of games available. You know what? Let's just rest you. If he's, you know what I mean? So he looked fine today. I don't even remember saying his name as much, or he looked really good today. Even on that one breakout there on the left hand side when they were coming up the left hand side, it was just him because Saliba left it. He looked perfect out there. Control that thing a little bit. So yeah, no, he looked good.
He had a little bit of a tussle with Højlund. What you think of that interaction with Højlund?
He tried to. He's too strong for Højlund to make a difference. So.
He's not Haaland. He's a Højlund.
Højlund tried to. He's like, I got this, and he's like, nah.
He's a junior Haaland.
Yeah, no, you don't. And guess he was on the ground, right? Højlund was on the ground. So yeah. No. It's good to see him back. He will just get better, hopefully, with more games. And I think he's traveling, right? He gets to go play for Brazil for a bit. So
good. Steven said, I want the same drugs as whoever picked Saka as man of the match. Saka was poor. For me, either Martinelli or Rice were man of the match. I think Ødegaard was our driving force today. I feel. So my vote would go to Ødegaard, and of course Gary and Stan will have a vote as well. We're going to take over to Tony Donwan, man of the match. We hope Tony's doing well. Arteta's a damn psychopath. If you don't agree with him, then you're going to feel that way. And there's only one person in the world that can pick Arsenal teams. Defo Martinelli, man of the match. So yeah, we have a lot of different opinion here. Gary, who would you put forward as your man in the match today?
I haven't really thought about that as much. I saw it. I like Saka. No.
I thought Eddie played well, Gary.
See, I don't. Once again, we're not going to see the same game.
I thought he held the ball up a lot better than we watched him 6 weeks ago. You were disgusted in New Jersey with Eddie's performance.
Yeah, I don't see that enough because I do remember the one time he did try to hold up the ball and he didn't. So that's just me. I don't think he made much of as much of an influence on the game as I wanted him to. Once again, I felt he was jogging around a lot. Not really putting as much pressure as I would have liked on that back line. Not making runs. How many times did we put the ball in the box and he's not there? That's kind of my thing. I'm like, you can't score. Like, I don't even know if he got any shots off today. And he needed to in the way that when we were making that attack. Martinelli, is up that left-hand side so many times. Tell me where Nketiah is at that point. You don't see him there. So I kind of felt like he's letting down our attack sometimes. The press, he's not there.
He chased that Saka clearance down the left-hand side. Lindelof has to foul him for a clear yellow card. That was Eddie, got on to the end of a lost cause.
Yeah, but I just, like I said, I don't feel like, no, I wouldn't even put him. I wouldn't put him in that list of like maybe they get man of the match. Definitely not him. Martinelli for amount of touches that he had, but how much what did we get out of that? It's a lot of touches and nothing there. Rice, I think, for me managing that middle, that is a plus for me. I think in general our back line was fine. Not much. They didn't really get much from us, except for a couple of breakdowns, which seems to be our thing. I think for me, I'd probably give it to Rice, and it's not just because of the goal. It's because he was probably the more consistent player, I believe, in that mid. Like today, like all other players for me just didn't have it as much. He seemed to be the most consistent one there for. So yeah, now I'm going to go with Rice, and it's not just because of the goal. It was before that. If we would have drew 1-1 at that point, I would given it to Rice. The fact that he scores that goal, and perfect.
We've got more to talk about with Rice as well. So I put my candidate forward, Stan, and Gary's put his candidate forward. Who are you going to pick for your man in the match, Stan?
Well, I'm with Melvin, because what I've seen, what I know Saka can do compared to what he did today. Today, I think he had a bit of a nightmare, personally. So he would have been my man of the match. But I think I'm probably with Gary with this one. Declan Rice. I thought he had a really good game, and the goal as well. It was very timely.
And the goal, exactly.
It was very timely, the goal. It kind of gave us that second bit of wind, didn't it? Yeah. And you see the expression on Declan Rice's face when that ball went into the back of the net. You can see what it meant to him.
Yep.
It was like the colour rushed back into his face. His face was pale, then it just went really red. Do you know what I mean? As the blood's got pumping around him,
I think he's really adopted that North London Arsenal thing about him, and West Ham fans are probably a little bit disgusted about how quickly he's taken to Arsenal, but not our problem. Rule said we should be on 12 points if we were not complacent. And I got to say, Mikel Arteta probably holds that Fulham the draw for me. Those 2 points dropped. I wouldn't necessarily blame Mikel Arteta many times, but those 2 points dropped are on Mikel last week. Saudi Arabia are succeeding. This week they executed someone due to a tweet they didn't like, yet the world is discussing their offer for Salah. Yeah. World affairs out there, Tom. Exactly. I mean, it's
executed that tweet. Jeez, man. Oh, man.
It's very bad. It's very bad. You mean championship encyclopedias, Gary? The difference between Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, they give you something completely different, right?
Yes. Yes. I don't think Rice kind of I think gets us. What does it call it? Passes the lines. His passes aren't going to like split
breaks the lines.
Break lines. So I can't think of the word at the time, but breaks the line as much. But he's there a lot. So that is one of the key things. He's always there. You know what I mean? He's always there. He's in the middle of the pitch. Look, he's going to be there. Come back, do whatever. So I think the availability is very, very, very key to us. I saw Rule's comment. He said I was harsh on Eddie. I think everybody was just jogging around, and I didn't like that. And he's one of those that does it all the time for me. But that's my kind of what I see. But no, yeah, I think Rice, in that position, really good. I think Partey gives us something different because that's what he's been doing for a while. I think Rice can build into that. I mean, if that was Partey taking that shot, we'd be scared, right? So yeah.
I think Rice is.
Emirates.
I think Rice is going to be that consistent player. He's going to be solid. without having the line breaking that you're talking about. He doesn't
Yeah.
break the lines as well as Partey does, but Partey's performances are not as consistent as Rice. So therein lies the difference between the two players. I think we're going to get more consistent performances out of Declan Rice, but they won't be swashbuckling as
I
Thomas
think he's going
Partey.
to score more goals at Arsenal than he did at West Ham as well.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think though we're going to be relying on our forwards to do the business. Partey's not necessarily. I mean, we're not going to get Partey performances from Rice. Man of the match, Rice, baby, says Rule, and Rule said doesn't think it was a Saudi offer that had Gabriel Magalhaes out of the team.
Like I said, I'm hoping it's all about just man rotation.
Yeah,
That's all. That's the thing that makes sense to me.
it didn't look good though for large parts of the second half. We're sitting here comfortable in the knowledge of 3 points, and the record books will record 3 points for Arsenal today. But it could have gone to any of the other two results could have happened. Man of the match should be split between Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire. Big shout for those two. I would like that for them to hand it.
Giving me a big cheese wheel.
Melvin said how much people talk up Eddie once Jesus comes on, the talking has to stop.
Yeah, no, I mean they're different players. They offer different things. And KDR for me, he's always going to be a goal. He has to score a goal because he's not he's not getting assists, but he needs to score goals, and that's how he's going to be tracked and evaluated. When he comes onto the games, he needs to be scoring goals, or at least putting some pressure on the back line. None of that today from him. Not enough from him today on that front. And they weren't even playing their strong back four. So if you can't attack that back four, when Varane is in there and Martinez is in there, what is he going to do, right? It should have been an easier game today for him to do that. So that's kind of what you have to look at as well. So
thanks for being here, Stephen. Good luck. I have to go to work today, so we'll watch the rest of the show later. Have a good one. And
thank you.
Very lucky to have the committed viewership here to the Arsenal fan circle and beyond. Samuel said, Mr. Tom, you make a good point, so I take it you're happy to be there. Yes and no will suffice. No, he wants to be out. I've seen Leeds in League One barely existing. This is nothing. Yeah. So, Stan, what were your thoughts on Rice today? I mean, you've given him man of the match, right? So, probably pretty high.
I think it's an all-round good performance. I think he's settling into the team very well. He looks really good in an Arsenal shirt. It looks like he's been playing for us for a little while. You can see that it matters to him as well. You can see his reaction as well when we thought that they'd scored their second goal before it got VAR'd off. The camera sort of showed you a few players, and you could see they showed Rice, and you could see that he was like really gutted.
Yeah,
gutted that they just got a goal behind. So very good for him to come back and score that decisive goal, which kind of, as I say, I felt it kind of gave us a bit of a second wind, didn't it? Everyone kind of perked up a little bit. I felt
a little bit sick when that went in, so I kind of turned away from the TV a little bit when that happened. Did not want to be recognizing a United 2-1 lead after 87 minutes there, especially Gary after Bukayo Saka missed a great chance on 80 minutes out of Nana.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like those are opportunities that he needs to put away.
Didn't get anything on it.
Put himself in that situation, and if he puts his foot through it, I don't think it goes right at the goalkeeper. And even if it does, it comes right back to him probably, and maybe it goes in. He's able to get a second opportunity, but he basically dribbled into the guy. It was a nice shot. It was. So I don't know. For me, that is why I always feel like we are not ready to shoot when we get into that attacking third. Too many times that ball comes to a player and they are just not, their footwork is just not in a position to take a shot. And they're always trying to get around the ball to get in a position. It's like, you should be ready for this, and I think that's another thing. We never get these one-touch plays were always waiting to get an extra touch and then maybe take the shot. So I don't know. It's a thing I repeat all the time.
Odegaard as well. He had an opportunity, and I must have shouted out shoot 3 times. And he kept the ball, kept moving to the left, and when he got his shot off, he just didn't have enough on it.
Yeah.
So both of you had given Declan Rice the man in the match. I'm giving Odegaard a good second choice for me, or first loser, whatever you call it.
He was very good as well.
His shot forces the corner off of Rice's goal that would come. So that corner kick from Bukayo Saka comes over. And Stan, what were you? Gary, he just flicks off. Gary, what were your thoughts then as the ball's coming over? Because I'm like, holy shit, Declan Rice is unmarked at the back post, and it looks, as I said earlier in the podcast, looks like time has stood still for 3 or 4 seconds here.
Yeah, I mean, because like you said, the ball's coming through, and you're like, there's a red shirt there. He chests it, he puts his foot through it, and it's like, what? Okay.
You could see he's taking that extra care to, first of all, chest the ball down. We found an Arsenal player in the box off a corner. That's noteworthy. Arsenal player has controlled the ball perfectly. It's not Havertz on the back post either. And Declan Rice takes care to watch the ball dropping and just hit it on that half volley, Gary, and get it on.
No, it was really nice.
On target.
And, you put your foot through it, good things can happen, right? And that's what he did. A deflection off of Evans' foot, just past the fingertips of Nana can't keep it in, keep it out. You know what I mean? So that's what we needed to do. We needed to take the damn shot, is what I was saying at that point. Just take the shot, put your foot through it, and put your foot through the back of the goal, right? Through the back of the net, basically. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
Very nice. And they didn't have enough time to set up or anything like that, because by the time he touched it, it was ready to go. And very nice. Very nice from him. And if he's doing that, it was just good. I'll take it.
Like I said, my mind was going through permutations. 2 points dropped here. We're 4 behind City now, and that would have been bad to be that far back, because 4 points is not really that far away. But when you're chasing City, we can't let it be more than 4 or 5 points if it gets to that. Yeah. Stan, what was happening in the pub for the Rice goal?
I'm glued, mate. I'm glued. I can remember jumping up and down on the spot for some reason, like I was on a pogo stick. I don't know why. I remember doing that, just jumping up and down on the spot. But I've seen Rice turn up in that position before and have a shot, but didn't quite get it, or the keeper saved it in other matches, turning up there at the back post. So I think that you're going to see, as I said earlier, that he's going to score more goals than he did at West Ham, and you're going to see him turning up maybe at that back post on a few occasions, being able to get one in. Yeah,
listen, this is a player who's come to us with the belief that he can push us forward to challenge with City, and days like this, you definitely feel it. You know what I mean? Like I think Stan said, 105 million. That's what you pay 105 million for, and as long as he keeps things tight at the back and we're a little bit more efficient up front, we can move forward with this and get wins. This was a really important win, Gary, in the context of the next few games coming up. In 2 weeks from now, we start away from home.
No, definitely. We need to build on this once again. We need to build on this just like we did last time going into the Everton game. Doesn't matter what they're doing. We need to build on it. We expect us to play a little bit better. We know how to play without Partey. So we just continue doing what you're doing and build on what things that you need to work on. I think we just need to be a lot more clinical in the attacking third, and especially when we take our shots. So there you go. Look, Stan was 6 out of 6, so he went for
6 out of 6 for Stan.
Good job.
5 out of 6 for Gary.
Yeah.
Were these easy predictions?
No, because one of them is the Judgment Day one was I think an upset for some for most, I think. So that wasn't
Wasn't easy.
expected.
Yeah, but these are the getting back to Arsenal. These are the types of wins that can propel you forward. I wouldn't wanted to have gone into the mini interlull here with some kind of stink off of this game, especially following on the Fulham game where 3 points were a must. And to confirm superiority over Manchester United, at least at the Emirates, whatever happens up at Old Trafford, we want to win up there, but to do the same as we did last season is important because we want to go a few points better than last season, and we're going to be looking at the corresponding fixtures here. Nelson had a decent cameo today as well, and want to collect the same amount of points as we did last season, then some. You know what I mean? That final goal, then, breakaway, we talked about it already. Fabio Vieira stepping forward again and showing more. And I don't think he has to necessarily start games, but be one of those players that can be ready to come on and impact the game,
Just looking at his body language as well, he looks far more comfortable now. And when he came on, there were times when I was nudging my missus and going, look how much space he's got. If someone can just find him, it was, sometimes where you have someone that's like new to the team, it's almost like the opposition aren't really aware of them. They don't register that person's kind of on the team and they just leave him alone. He had so much space at times.
Yeah. A quick nod, I'm going to talk about Ødegaard as well to get that equalizer so quickly after going a goal down. Gary, last season we went a goal down to Rashford. I think it was 7 minutes till Eddie Nketiah equalized. It was a lot quicker this time with Ødegaard.
Yeah, good response. I mean, as I said, I was doing a watch along, so I kind of knew what was about to happen, but good response within less than 2 minutes. We put the ball back in the net, and that, for me, looked like the way a lot of our goals should have looked. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the way that there was so much movement off the ball, creating a lot of space, and Ødegaard comes in late, and he has the ball right up at the top of the 18, puts it past the goalkeeper on the, picks a corner. And it didn't seem like we had those types of opportunities. It always seemed like when we got that ball around the 18, there was a player there and they weren't prepared to shoot. And then by the time they were, the defender comes in and blocks it, right? That was one of those where he just he had his footwork perfectly set, puts his foot through it, and goalkeeper has no chance. So, yeah, I like when he shoots. I want him to shoot more.
It was I think it was one of those FU moments for me where this is not happening today. Manchester United are not coming and stealing 3 points, and I have an opportunity to wall up a ball into the back of the net. And Eriksen, who had helped Manchester United give them the lead, was the only person there between Ødegaard and the goal, trying to block it. I thought it was sort of a captain's goal. Do you know what I mean? If you can ever describe it as a captain's goal, that was a captain's goal, taking the onus of the shot, Stan, taking that responsibility.
And you can see as well, it kind of knocked the stuffing a little bit out of Man United, and their goalkeeper was telling everybody to calm, and everybody in the pub was pointing at the TV screens and laughing when he was doing that bit. I do see what you mean. It was very much of a leadership goal, wasn't it? It's very much like, no, let's stop that cheering from them right now. Do you know what I mean? Shut it. And shut up.
One thing right at the end of the game, Stan, did you notice the Man United and the away supporters that they emptied out very quickly right at the end of the game, about 100 minutes? They were all gone. You could see seats.
Yeah, must have been a fire drill.
All right, Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom. So we're going to talk for a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes about the transfer window, but then we're going to get out of here. But Gary, any final thoughts on this game today against Man United?
No, the scoreline is what we wanted. I wanted at least, like I said, 3 goals for me is key for most games. We should be able to get 3 goals on anyone. We got the 3 goals. Took a little bit longer than I expected. Team played for 90 minutes, which I don't think they've done that all season. we played for 90 minutes. The subs actually once again have contributed to either keeping a point or guaranteeing at least a point so far. So really good from us. Vieira is showing, he's good off the bench. We'll see what that means in terms of points. We expect to see the same from him, no matter whether he starts in Champions League or in any of the cup matches. So hopefully he's getting the confidence to bring that into his game. Jesus will get healthy, so we'll see what he does after the break. So once again, we're getting healthy in certain areas, which is really good. We have the risk once again with our back line. We're going to have to figure out a way to combat that. I'm still going to harp on, if we need to, Saka can play left back, right back. If we need to get a point,
Yeah, what's not going to happen, right?
No. If we need to, we should not let that not be an option for us and go with something that really punishes us.
Steve Denham, thanks for joining us, Steve. Catch us on the next one. Yeah, look, I think I hear what you're saying, Gary. I just don't ever think that Saka's going to be playing unless we're in the Champions League semi-final and we need to get to a final and we have a player sent off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to be able to try to get all the points we can, and we shouldn't not put in our best players because of that. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it that way. We need to do a good job.
Okay. Stan, final thoughts on the game here today before we get into the window?
I think moving forward that they should be able to use this as a springboard going into the next game. Just a good scalp to have,
Yes.
A very good scalp to have. So they should be able to build on this and use it as momentum into the next game. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. Cool. It's always nice to beat Man United. It's a rivalry that's developed past probably Tottenham, for me anyway, over the years, and historically, we're just looking to confirm superiority over them and to fight their neighbours in Manchester City and maybe Liverpool. I think Liverpool's a better team than them right now. Man United, the critics will say that was a really bad Man United team, and we weren't efficient in taking our chances, but we did overcome the obstacle and got there in the end, which is maybe is a sign of a good team, winning when you don't play very well. If you feel one way or the other, you've got lots of evidence to support how you're feeling, and that's your opinion. Gary, let's jump into the window, and maybe Thomas Partey and the news of Thomas Partey influences our thoughts on the transfer window now.
I still thought going in that we needed to help out our depth in the back line. Timber being out, even with Timber, I still felt like we still might have needed that one player to help us with defensively. Because I didn't like the fact that we kept playing Partey as a right back. So I just rather not that be an option, and we have more than enough players to support us on the back line. We can go to a traditional back four. Because a lot of people were thinking Zinchenko being out meant Margulies wasn't going to play. So I still felt we needed more defensive support, or if not, an attacking presence that will maybe push Saka. So I thought we were going to be able to get one more player. We did really good with the sale of Balogun and some of the other players that we were able to get a little bit of money for.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for us to get one more player. And then when you heard Partey being out, and that happened on a Thursday. So for me, I'm like, all right, we could do a last day pickup. We've done it before. Do we not have somebody, one of those players as a plan B? And Partey getting injured that's not new to Arsenal. Timber being out, that was a big kind of surprise, and it kind of sucks for us. So we're down at that point 2 defenders. So I was surprised that they did not necessarily rush to judgment and go out and get a play, but already have a plan B in their pocket just in case they needed it. Just in case Timber fell through, right? Timber being out, he could be out for the whole season. Now, you're telling me if Timber didn't happen, we wouldn't have had a plan B? I believe we would have, right? So if that's the case, then I think there might have been a player, maybe he was taken off the board already, but I would have liked us to pick up another player and not risk what we're seeing now, which is Partey's out. and Zinchenko and Tomiyasu are still questionable as to how
Durable.
how healthy they're going to be
Yeah.
going throughout the season. So
Yeah. Same thing at you, Stan, our transfer window. And from my point of view, I think we have a lot of players, particularly at the back, maybe throughout the whole team, who have multi-functionality. Is that a good thing, though?
Well, I'd give the transfer window a rating of about a 6. And I'm going to base it on this, right? Let's say the season finished today after this game. That's the end of our season. I would think to myself, I really wish we could have had that 65 million that we spent on Havertz and done something else with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that if the season finished today, who knows? In another 8 games, I could be saying something completely different if his performances shape up. But based on what I've seen so far, that 65 million would have been so handy for another area of the squad, or even the same area but a different person. Also as well, another reason why I'm giving it such a low number as a 6 is that I just don't think that we've done enough when it comes to selling players. Putting players out on loan is just kicking the problem down the road like a can, because they're going to come back again and maybe they've lost even more value. I mean, look at Nicolas Pepe. We weren't able to do anything with Nicolas Pepe, and it's all right. It's all right. People saying to other Arsenal fans, "Well, you're being harsh if you're saying this shit." Not that I am, but if someone is, but it's not just those Arsenal fans that are saying it's a bit shit. Everybody else is, because nobody wants him. Nobody's willing to take him on loan with an option to buy it. No one's willing to take a gamble on Nicolas Pepe. So I just feel that when it comes to the outgoings, and we still have a head like Cedric hanging around, it's not good business for me. And then letting Tierney go. As soon as Timber was injured, you would have been like, no, you're not going anywhere. And if he comes across as being a little bit selfish, sometimes you have to put the club first.
Yeah.
The bigger picture as the manager, not the comfort of the player. If the player's not going to play as many games, you still need them as cover because we've lost Timber. So in that respect, that's why I'm giving it a 6.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even give it a ranking, but if you think about, you always start out at like a 5 to start, and for me, Rice coming in it gives us 2 points. That's a 7. Timber 8. Havertz for me drops us back again, and as you said, the sales. The sales for me, and also the fact that we did not really bring in another player, kind of drops me back a point again. So we're back to 6 there. Easy for me to go. That's how I justify the pointing. Is that the sales?
Yeah,
I think we could have done better with it. I think we should have.
Question for both of you: do you both rate incomings and outgoings equally? Is it a 5 and a 5 scenario, or
You
do
have
you
to
put less
for
weight?
me.
Do you put less weight on the outgoings? You know what I mean?
It depends on the outgoings, isn't it? If it's someone, if it's someone that's just hanging around and is taking up space, someone like a Cedric, for example, you really want to see that player moving on, and and hopefully you get a little bit of money back for him. But an investment like 72 million on Nicolas Pepe, the way that has turned out now, it's just unbelievable that we managed to get ourselves into that situation. And I really hope that we don't get ourselves into the same situation with Kai Havertz, which is my biggest fear.
Now, if you think about it, Arsenal has sold 3 goalkeepers. 3 goalkeepers who have all won trophies for their national team. Well, 2 of them who've won trophies for their national team, right?
Yeah.
Goalkeepers who are starting in the Premier League. There's
Turner
only 20.
And Martinez.
There's only 20. We have 3 goalkeepers that we have sold that are all starting, right? Martinez, Turner, and Leno.
Yeah.
3 goalkeepers, right? All starting in this league. And guess what? Total them all up, they're not worth 1 Onana. But they're starting in this league.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where I'm like, wait a second, you can be a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League, and we can't get that much money for them. Something's not right there, right? Something's just not right there. How we're selling our players and what worth we believe they are worth to a team. A goalkeeper is pretty key to most teams, right? Nottingham Forest just went off and won a game yesterday, right? Didn't they? Did I forgot? Was that at the bridge or was that
At the
home? I don't
bridge.
remember.
At
So
the
at the
bridge.
bridge, Turner went and got a clean sheet,
I'll tell you
right?
one other thing, Gary. It'll
So
make you
so
laugh.
that's one part of it. Other players that we're putting out there also for me, in terms of the sales, like I think that um, Flo Balogun worth a lot more money than I think we're worth either more money or worth more on the sell on. Pick one of the two.
Yeah.
We gave them a discount, right? When we
Yeah.
sold, when we put the price there, that's definitely a discount. But then I think we could have done better on the sell on clause because we've seen that teams can get 50%. We only got 17, which I didn't know that was a thing. But wow, you know, something we needed to get something out of that deal that was more beneficial to us and puts a little bit like would they have not made the deal if we said 25-30% sell on clause, right? Because if that's the case, then they should spend more money on them. One of the two, you know what I mean? So
Well,
that's where for me the selling needs to be better, especially
yeah.
when we finally have a player who's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. We take a discount on it and we don't actually make the other team take a little bit of a
Yeah.
sacrifice on the deal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Rob
As
Holding, right? Rob
Rule,
Holding, I think we got 1 point something million for Rob
Yeah,
Holding
he
with
can
a
start
couple
for
of million
teams, right?
in add-ons. But by the time they came to us, we were in no position to try and negotiate. We were just like, okay, fair enough, you got us.
yeah.
There you go. Otherwise, we
Uh,
would have had Rob Holding hanging around, right?
Yeah.
As
No,
Rule,
we had to let players go, and I think it's good, but we still have, as I saw, 6 players on loan that are going to come back. We're going to go through this again. At some point, we can't have
yeah.
6 players on loan. That means we've got
Tavares, Lakonga,
Tierney.
these players, we need if they're not part of the plans, then we need to get money back.
Yeah. As Rule said, the players we have here are not even for our bench, so it's difficult to sell. Listen, we can blame
And
Edu.
you know what? That
We can
right
blame-
there, that is the problem.
I know.
If they're not part of your future, then holding on to them, trying to improve their worth, which is what Arsenal does sometimes, isn't working. Just let them go. We know teams know we don't want to play them,
Should
so
we?
they're not going to want to play. They're not going to want to pay for them.
Should we have played these players more in an effort
They're worth
to boost
a
their
lot
value?
more money. They're worth a lot more money, and that's not the way they're being sold.
No, but should we have sold them? Should we have played them more? Lakonga, should he have played more at Arsenal? Should he have gotten some minutes here and there? No. So
There
are
was-
we willing? We're willing to forego the potential transfer.
No, but I mean, if you're going to bring them in, you got to. Then you've evaluated incorrectly once again, right?
Sure.
Like, how can it for me? A team can go out there and find a Tomiyasu who I
Some
believe
misses.
who's worth less than some of the players we brought in, and has been contribute to us, right? We bring a Timber in for 40, contributes for us immediately right off the bat, right? So with our evaluation seems to work a lot, but then other times you're like, oh, how in the world can you evaluate all this and then find out that Lakonga doesn't work, that Nuno doesn't work, that Sambi doesn't work, right?
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
the same player.
if you pay like a 7 million for a Nuno Tavares, I call that for me that's taking a punt. And if it doesn't work out, you can somehow absorb that, but you can't do that with a Kai Havertz.
But you know what? What is City?
Or
City
Pepe.
doesn't take that. City doesn't take that punt. You know why? Because it's a waste most of the time. Like you're just rolling. You're just taking. You're just trusting that. Guess what? We might get. We might hit the lottery ticket, or we might get a
Well, they did
really
with
big
Martinelli.
surprise there.
You know, they did with Martinelli.
No, but
there was no
lately
guarantee.
we have not seen that since Martinelli, where we taken a punt with a player under 10 mil, and it's worked out to where like he's a starter now, and he's worth 5 to 10 times more than he was when we bought him.
Those kind of players are hard to find.
Exactly. So then if I told you, don't spend the money on Nuno, don't spend the money on Lakonga, take that 25, make it 35, 40, and go out and get a player like Timber.
Yeah.
You're gonna say, well, that's better, right? Because if you can find Timber for
Sure.
40, then you don't have to take the risk that guess what? We're gonna spend 7 here, 15 there, and then hopefully it works out.
So,
No. You
while
lower your risk when you spend a little bit more money, right?
yeah, so while the last 2-3 years our recruitment has definitely gotten better over the last 2-3 years, but we're still probably hitting at about 60, 65%. Every 1 out of every 3 is probably not working out so well for us. Is that fair?
Yeah, we're
I
shockingly
mean, if you think
different.
about it, if you think about it, if we don't spend the 65 on Havertz, we could have maybe got a Moussa Diaby. We could have maybe got a Kudu,
Madison.
right? Could have got a Madison.
Oof.
All these players, right? All these players. You think about those 3 players
Oof.
right there. We could have gotten maybe 2 of them. Probably would be laughing right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And instead of Havertz, it might be Rice playing there. And if Rice does, and if Partey's injured like it was today, maybe Rice goes back and maybe you put in
The two
Vieira. Maybe Vieira gets more minutes and we see Vieira in game 2 and go, oh, well, he looks like he can answer the call. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
The 2 players, the things that I'm seeing from Vieira, I assume Arteta is seeing them in practice as well. So if that's the case, then what comparison are you making with Havertz going?
You got to believe. I got to believe, though, that Vieira is now established and understands the complexities of Arteta's system that Kai Havertz needs to get up to speed.
And he's not going to get it playing in games, getting overrun and being, just it's not going to work. So for me, it should be clear as day. Look, there's no reason to rush it.
Yeah.
Like
if there is,
it's a mold of clay that you don't know how it's going to come out. Whereas you've been molding Vieira now for a year plus, you know what is going to come out of that. So there's no reason to rush it. Yeah,
especially Gary. Especially Gary, if there's 34 or 43, whatever Arteta said, different game states of transition within even one game. There's 34 different things. I didn't really care for the analogy, and I generally support Mikel Arteta, but I'm going to call him out where I think he's spoofing. The analogy of driving to a certain destination. What do you think of that one?
It's nonsense, man. He's just rambling. I mean, it's waffle, whatever they want to call it.
If I have to drop my car off,
it's a terrible. Basically, what he's saying is that he's going to make the best call for him getting home, right? Based on the situation at hand. Guess what? He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that because if you watch the first half, Havertz, something wasn't working on the team in that in that midfield and the attack. And guess what he did? He said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to drive the same way I always do. I'm just going to drive right through the construction site because guess what? That's what I always do. I don't detour and go a different way to get to the same place. So he's lying. He's lying to us.
He's lying to us. Right? You can just imagine him, innit? Not listening to the GPS. It's like, now turn left. He's like, no, I'm going right. So, tell me what to do.
Yeah, no. So I mean, he's telling us something, but he doesn't actually execute it that way. I always want Arteta to tell us what he's doing, and then when he does, and I'm like, but you don't do it. So then he's lying to me, right?
I think managers have that bow that they will use, the lion bow. Like Stan said, Gabriel Magalhaes was not playing the first few games for strategic reasons. I believe personally it was Saudi Arabian strategic reasons.
He said tactical reasoning, but you know what? De Zerbi actually said no. Casado is out because you know what? His head's not right.
Yeah.
Right. And Arteta won't say that for what reason? I'm not sure. Why can't he say that? You know what? It's because you say for tactical reasons, then you look silly.
I think
what tactical reason ever can you say I'm going to take 2 of the youngest center back pairing that's out there in the world today and probably one of the top at that age group and go, you know what? It just doesn't work for me today. Them stopping opportunities through the middle, it's just not the way we play. We don't do that. No, it doesn't make any sense. So no.
Real said that was stupid from Arteta about 36 and 42 different structures.
Who's counting them? Is there someone at the side with a pad counting, making sure they get?
That's another one.
Because I would have stopped counting.
I
would have stopped counting at 15. I would,
Rule. Ornstein did say today the Saudi market's open, I think, till September 6th. So 3 more days, something like that.
No, I thought it was longer than that, but okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was the 20th as well, but Ornstein said it, so it's got to be right. He said it today.
Yep.
Ornstein's
and you know what? Right. We have a lot of players going out on international duty, so Hopefully,
Yeah.
they all come back, healthy and ready to go.
And that should be it from the Saudi market. Our player salary is a big drawback, and our recruitment was for the Euros and not Champions League. Correct. Real quick, we're going to get into the Partey stuff, then get out of here. I had felt concerned that Partey played two positions in one, more strain on him. So a player of his caliber would have been needed. But we have in-house solutions such as Walters and Sousa, both from under 21. And that's something I talked about on Thursday Night Forum. I do think Raul Walters will come in. Maybe Sousa will come in as well. We have a couple of gaps, Stan, in our squad. Maybe they're filled by academy players.
It's just, with 4 games in, and I just thought we was going to get a little bit more mileage out of Thomas Partey at this part of the season. Especially with bringing in somebody like Rice and having Jorginho, I thought it meant that in that area, we didn't have to run anyone into the ground. But like somebody said, I think it was either Gabriel or someone in the chat about Partey, it looked like he was at times he was playing 2 positions.
It's not even necessarily. Some people say, people say he's inverting, right? Which to me means he's coming from somewhere else, right? So there's extra. He's taking up more. He's got to cover more space on the pitch. Now, based on his history of injury, when is a good answer to, what, we need to keep him on the pitch? I'm going to give you extra more real estate to take up on the pitch, but also guess what? You're going to have to be able to run back and get into that right back position on a counter.
Don't forget to overlap.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's like no, it's just it doesn't make it. Well. It makes no sense at all. No. He's shown you he can't make it through a season, and now we're back once again. He's not going to make it through a season without an injury.
24. We got 21 more games from him.
And not only that, he'll be out for a month in January.
When driving to work, Mikel inverts to another road.
Yeah.
The Thomas Partey thing is curious, and why we didn't go back in. Some people are saying financial fair play might be a thing now, because we have overpaid for some players. And
it doesn't make any sense, because if that's the case, then Chelsea spent like over 400 mil, sold 200 mil. They're still like 100 mil over us on what is it called, on net spend or whatever it's called. So for me, like, I believe the FFP is like around 150 mil mark or something like that. It starts to kick in or something.
I think it's a percentage of your incoming.
They've managed to balance their books far better than we have, and spreading players out over 8-year plans. They're kind of like it's a little bit like when you're overdrawing your bank account and you're kind of lending.
So then West Ham deal,
but it's a gamble. It's a good way to get all these players in, but then the gamble is that you're locked in there. If they all turn out to be pups, then that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think, Gary,
but can I just say, well, maybe we didn't go back into the transfer market because maybe there was a number of what we had to, that we were having to, that that we were given to spend, and there was a number that needed to come back into the pot because we brought money in from some of those sales, and although they were derisory, 60, 70 million maybe we might have brought in. Where does that money go? Does that money go back into the transfer kitty to go back out and players, or does that come back in to balance the books to go against the 200 that was spent? So it doesn't necessarily mean, that's why I was saying that it would have been nice to have had that 65 million still kicking about, to have done something with that.
Yeah. By my figures, we spent 213 million in getting Havertz, Rice, Timber, and Raya in the door. And we've recouped 77 million of that with Granit Xhaka, Turner, Pablo Mari, Trusty, Balogun, Holding, and then we've put Tierney, Lokonga. Patino's a good potential player for years to come, and Tavares. So our net spend has been 136 million, and we probably were not intending to do any more of that. So, Gary, that Timber injury puts us kind of back where we were last season in April and May.
Yeah, we're a player short, at least one player short. and now we're 2 players short. So yeah,
And now we're relying maybe on academy players. Rule Walters, I think, could be ready.
I don't know about you, but I like what I saw from the academy players in the preseason.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they need to do to get up minutes. I'd rather have them than Holding. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to give players an opportunity, I'm going to maybe give a younger player that opportunity because as you say, if it doesn't work out in this first half of the season, you go into January, you can go out and get a player, and the players you have coming on are going to be young and going to want to prove that they're worthy of playing. So you might get more out of them. So
I'm saying all of this about an academy player, and Emile Smith-Rowe hasn't had any minutes yet, I believe.
Yeah, but the academy players are playing on defense, the ones we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, Nweri looks really good to me, but I don't think we're considering him coming in at any point.
He's too young. Yeah.
So so yeah. So I think it's just the fact of defense. We're lacking defense. Emile Smith-Rowe should be getting minutes, but maybe we'll see when we have these midweek games, then we should be seeing him a lot more come in, at least to come in for as a sub, right?
Yeah.
We go to PSV. I mean, I would like to see him. He should come in.
Yeah.
My biggest fear of the defense is that every time I look at Tomiyasu and Zinchenko, I'm always thinking to myself, it's only a matter of time before they're back on the treatment table.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas I look at Ben White and I think that he's quite robust. Saliba comes across as quite robust. Mega Legs, he's proved it. He played 73 games. But the fullbacks, I'm not sure about Kiwior. I think I'm not too sure about him, but it's definitely Tomiyasu and Zinchenko. They seem like paper mache.
I don't think Arteta's really sure about Kiwior either, because if you have Gabriel Magalhaes not playing, the obvious candidate for him to come in and replace him would be Kiwior, and you wouldn't have to move Saliba or White over to cover for Gabriel Magalhaes in the first 3 games of this season.
Yeah,
but
I agree with that.
That's where we are right now with Mikel Arteta, and my gut feeling was telling me we're never going to know now because Partey got injured on Thursday. My thoughts that were Partey, our midfield would have been Partey, Rice, and Havertz today.
Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense to me today, because that would have made a lot of sense to me today to go out that, and that would be our that'd be our first 11. Eventually, with Jesus coming in at some point. So yeah.
Damn it, Partey had to get injured.
But Partey getting injured is what? Par for the course. It's just we've had to live with this now since he's come in. The fact that it's happened this early shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise, especially the way he was being used to start this season. I mean, the way he was being used was similar to some people saying, I believe it, that Timber should have not come out at halftime. Regardless, maybe his leg would have gone anyways, but I don't know. But at that point, he kind of lunged in there, and he definitely did a little bit of damage. Whether it was to the right foot or not, the fact that he got on the other foot meant he had to either overcompensate or whatever it was, or he was going to go anyways. But I kind of felt like you're asking for trouble sometimes when you ask players to do a little bit extra when you don't have to.
It's an expensive oversight, indeed. Listen, we'll leave it there unless anyone else has something to add to this podcast right now. We joined City. Well, we're 2 points behind City, but we joined Tottenham, Liverpool, and West Ham with 10 points. Notable.
Can I just say, though, all said and done, we've been going here for an hour and 45 minutes almost, and we've been picking it all apart. But let's just go all the way full circle, right back to the very beginning, man. When all is said and done, I'm still buzzing.
Yes.
Get that feeling back, man. That was a hell of a way to end that game, man. The way that we did.
Hey, there's no better feeling than being in the pub with a lot of other gooners out there and feeling that energy. And really good when you win, but we could have lost this game as well.
Yeah, and
All right.
those last 6 minutes we're gonna enjoy that. Just think about it. Those last 6 minutes are just like when Nelson put that ball in, right?
Yes.
And that was an extra 3 minutes of extra time, right? So
Yeah.
we should be enjoying it. The team played throughout. They ran through the tape. They didn't crawl over it. They ran through the tape.
Yeah.
They finished up strong like we've wanted them to, and we used our bench to do that. Think about it. If they brought on like a Rashford and Lisandro Martinez or something like that to close out that game, that's what it looked like when we kind of brought on some of our top players to finish off that game, right? Kiwior was hot, and Jesus was good, and Tomiyasu has been playing well for us. So that's why you have that bench, and the bench did their job.
Yeah.
I do have a last question, actually, a very quick one.
A card, Devil's Advocate card.
Not really, because it's just a question, really. We don't play again for another couple of weeks. So who's starting for the middle? He's starting Jesus. If he's ready to go.
Who are you talking about City?
Our next game in the league, yeah.
Everton.
Next game away to Everton, Jesus starts. Yes.
If Jesus is healthy to play more than 45 minutes, then you play him.
That's our next game, right?
Next game at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
I was thinking yesterday, Everton lost, and if they would sack Sean Dyche, Arsenal would face the new manager bounce again.
Yeah, they might have to do that if they want to get a chance, because I don't think it's going to work otherwise.
At Goodison Park. Yeah, listen, we got Everton away from home. We got Tottenham, a small team close to us, and Bournemouth before City. And I know Gary will want 3 wins going into that Manchester City game.
This is the same thing we've seen before. We need to be going into that City match having won all our games, because they're winnable games, and we should be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, and right now we need to have more than a 3-game winning streak. We need to win all of our midweek games as well. So I think we're playing PSV, and I think then we're playing Lens before we play City. So we should be going in basically with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game winning streak at that point.
Don't forget the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, I counted that. So
all right.
We should,
We'll leave it there. We might be out for a couple of shows here. Enjoy your weekend. Next weekend, there's no games, and we get back to Goodison Park 2 weeks from now. Real quick for Man City, I want a Jorginho, Rice, and Ødegaard midfield for Man City at home. I don't want to see Kai Havertz against a top 6 team. We got away with it today. You know what I mean? Gary, thanks for being here. Go get something to eat, Gary.
Yep, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's probably time to get something to eat. I've been watching the game, and you're right. I have not eaten. It's the game was at 11:30, and it's almost 4:00 now. So I might be in trouble, because I think I was supposed to go to the store with the boss.
Dedication there. Stan looks like he's got the rest of the afternoon off.
Yeah, I was up early this morning. I was up at 6 o'clock this morning to get down to the pub. So I'm just getting ready for match of the day. I'm looking forward to watching that and hearing them in the studio, having to, through gritted teeth, say how good we were.
Say good
so
things
I
about
like
us.
that. Yeah, through gritted teeth. Have a good week, everyone.
All right,
everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Enjoy the international break.
Points, right?
And embrace. Enjoy the international break. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks, if not sooner.
And maybe check out Gary.
Oh yeah, the trip will be on tomorrow, so we'll be talking about the game.
All right.
We'll see who joins us then. Yep.
We're out of here. Thanks, people. Come on, you Gunners! A brilliant win against a really terrible Man United team. We left it late.